Hi, Josh Barker with RE/MAX Town & Country Real Estate. And thank you for checking out our video blog. This month, I'm actually going to go off topic a little bit. I'm going to talk to you about solar power and how it could have an impact on the sale of your property. So let me first start off by just saying that I'm a huge advocate for solar. I think it's a great product to have, particularly to own. When you own solar power, I mean, essentially what you're doing is you're locking in a fixed rate for your energy expenses for an extended period of time. So it's a great hedge against energy inflation, or the cost of energy inflation. Now, for the problem where it becomes more of an issue, though, is when you go to lease a solar system for your home. We've seen a lot of transactions here, not just locally, not just in our office, but also in the entire state of California. We've seen a lot of leasing of solar. And part of the problems that we are running into, at least how it has a relationship to real estate, is that it's causing a lot of transactions to fall apart and to not close. This is happening because a lot of these leases that you'll see, they have either a 20, 25, maybe in some cases up to a 30-year term to lease the system. And the only way out of that lease is to actually buy out of that lease by paying off the remaining term or whatever is negotiated in the lease, but it's normally pretty expensive to buy out of it. So, and oftentimes the sellers are asking the buyers to assume the responsibility for the lease. And this is where the point, or where the problem is popping up. Whether a lease is good or bad is not my conversation today. But what I want to tell you is that a lot of buyers, when they look at a lease for solar, they don't know if it's good or if it's bad. And because they don't know, oftentimes without obligating themselves to a 20 or 25-year commitment, they're electing not to purchase the property at all, which is where the problem obviously lies. So with leasing, one thing you got to keep in mind, you're typically setting in a rate, a monthly rate, and you're being provided a set amount of power. And then, of course, over time, if energy costs were to go up, you've created a really good hedge for yourself against energy inflation. So, when you first execute a lease in that first year or two, it may not appear very valuable from a buyer's perspective because solar, power prices might be pretty similar to your lease cost. As leases get older, though, as they get to be maybe 5 years or 7 years or 10 years old, and if powers went up by 50%, well, then that lease appears to be extremely valuable. But again, that's where the problem is that a lot of these leases have been executed in the last couple of years. There's not a huge difference necessarily between the lease itself and what current power costs are. And for that reason, buyers don't see the value, and it's killing those transactions. So it's just something to keep in mind. I mean, what I would consider doing is this: if you're going to stay in your home for an extended period of time, then owning a system's great, or even leasing, I suppose, if you know you're going to stay. But if you think that you might become more ambulatory, if you're going to possibly move a few times, and maybe the next 3 to 5 years you're going to be on your way, just know that if you lease the system, that could create an additional challenge that would need to be overcome in order to sell your property. So just something to keep in mind. So again, I just want to finish by saying I'm a huge advocate for solar. I know from this video I'm going to get calls from solar companies in town that aren't going to be too happy about it. But I just want you to understand that I do like solar. I think that purchasing systems is a great idea. I know buyers recognize the value in doing that. But when you go to lease it, make sure that you understand that that's going to create a challenge if you sell in the short term. So if you have any questions at all, I'd be glad to share with you instances and how people have navigated through those issues. So if you have solar now and it's already leased and you're wanting to sell and you have a few questions for us, let me know and I could certainly walk through that with you. But in any case, feel free to call us with any questions and make it a great day.